control computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Hello, hello. Hi. How are we all doing? Oh, Santa Catalan's V-hyped for another W stream Brit. Oh, thank you. Am I able to super chat? I think you might be able to super chat. Yes, I think so. Unless that's changed. Also let me know how the music to my voice ratio is. I don't mind tweaking that. It's kind of hard to judge when it's just me. Low energy but vibing, says Random Gamer. Good. We can work with vibing. We can work with vibing. Yeah, let me know how the sound mixing is. How about you? I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm just kind of doing last minute fiddle faddling. If I sound distracted, it's because I am. Could your mic be a smidge louder? My mic can't be much louder, unfortunately. But I could make the music quieter, and then you turn it up a little bit, maybe? Something like this, maybe? My mic has quite a bit of softening on because otherwise it literally picks up everything. Okay, I've reduced the volume a little, so let me know how that is compared to other stuff. That sounds good. That sounds good. Okay, great. Perfect. Perfect. Glad to hear it. Obviously the music is also going to kind of go up and down a little bit in volume, but that's fine. So as it kind of fades in and out, but obviously don't hesitate to let me know if that changes. So hi, for those of you who weren't in the kind of Discord call the other day, we are working on some art for a subclass that I've been working on called the Way of the Painted Soul. In short, the Way of the Painted Soul is well, as I say, a monk subclass. It's one where, tell you what about we start off by, instead of me stumbling and mumbling my way through this, I can open up the doc right here and I can read you the chat log. I'm also gonna see if I can 1 second, I'm just resetting up my OBS. There we go. Well, not resetting up, but relinking the stream. Let me read. I've got some fun flavor text now at the beginning. At dawn, I am reborn. My brush moves, and the world moves with it. My spirit shifting, my body reshaping, my soul unfurling like ink on untouched parchment. To paint is to become. No stroke is permanent, no pattern eternal. Today I am swift as the coursing wind. Tomorrow I may be the mountain. So monks of this tradition use pigments crafted from plants, minerals, and sacred oils to paint their bodies in intricate, ever-changing designs. These painted symbols serve as conduits for their ki, unlocking their spiritual and physical potential. With each dawn, they renew their artistry, adapting their form to meet the challenges ahead. So basically, these guys use body paint to prepare access to certain abilities and stuff like that. Artsy monks. I was looking for like martial arts references. There was this. It's so frustrating finding stuff and it's all AI generated. I mean, I've tried to, you know, I really liked the composition of the upper bit. This bit here, the leg was like right up in the groin area, shall we say, and it looked very weird, but like the hands are so thin and the head is so big. But I did like this this sort of flow to it. I'm just doing this on a separate layer, like this sort of shape and then that sort of shape. So I've tried to keep that, but then evened out the proportions, all of that jazz. The teeniest little wrists and weird wonky fingies. So but I will admit I did really like this pose, so I've tried to emulate that. This, I don't have the image anymore, which is a real shame. I should have kept it, but I didn't like how weird this looked. So the hand reference I used was someone who was doing I think it was Bhangra or a similar dancing tradition from India, and it was just a wellspring of like really great hand gesture references. I would recommend, if you ever want like a really cool pose, you know, lots of traditional dance moves from around the world. Georgian and Hungarian traditional folk dancing I've actually used as references for like fighting before, and it's been really effective. So that is my top tip for today. I'm gonna eat your line art, it's so good. Thank you, Enrique. Yeah, I'm trying to play around a little bit with like thickness, and I'm trying to be less precious and a bit more gestural. So like you can see when I was doing the fabric here, I was literally going but it feels good. The foot is still feeling a little. I was using this lady, but obviously she's using this leg, so it's more like the little toe is on the outside, whereas for this one the little toe is on the inside. Let's duplicate this in case something goes wrong, because I'm paranoid. I'm just going to fix this foot real quick because it's bugging me already. I drew like one really good foot a while ago when I did the Hades fan design for Macaria, and I used a lot of references for that, and I was really pleased with how that foot turned out. But there was also a moment where I was like, oh, I will never draw one this good again. We had a good run. But this is going to be it. Oh, I was wondering what was going on there. I accidentally did the pressure sensitivity on my eraser, which I don't prefer. There you go. Maybe something like that, and then the toes, like implying the toes. Something like that. Sorry, if I occasionally pause, it's because I'm reading the chat. Capoeira is awesome for references too. It is capoeira. It's capoeira I used to do very briefly when I was younger, and I loved it. I really enjoyed capoeira. I'm quite short, so I have a very low center of gravity, so it was actually really good for me. Someone says better save it and not need it than need it and not save it. It's true. I should have saved the hand reference I used, but if I remember it, I will mention it again. Love the idea for the subclass. Thank you, Syndicate Lens. Good run. I'm so funny, I swear. Oh, good stuff. Yeah, so I'm gonna do like a little video on it, and then in that video I will also then be posting the kind of beta rules for these guys, but basically once per, like during your long rest, you can these guys like repaint parts of their body to sorry, I'm just playing around with the, it's that thing of me turning down the music for myself and then needing to turn up for you guys, so please always say if the sound isn't working for you. I think it's currently fading out. But yeah, they repaint it based off of like a table. So there's a table with 8 parts of the body, and at level 3 they can paint 3 parts of their body during a long rest. I've done the necklace separate. The first good decision I've made in a long time. I actually thought ahead. And then the different parts of their body that they paint, when they activate them with key, can do different things. So you can kind of plan ahead. Some of them are more social. Some of them are more fighter based. And then at later levels they can grant their abilities to their allies as well, and they get like a fun third eye ability. Some of the effects get better when you level up. So at like level 11 and level 17. Or level 6, sorry, and level 11. So they just got a little bit of versatility to them, you know? They kind of, it's not quite as crazy as like a cleric or you know, a wizard, people who can kind of, or those that can prep spells like druids and that, but is it druids that can? I know clerics can. It's been a hot minute since I have played either of those guys. But then they're not, hopefully it's not stepping on the toes, it's just a monk with just a little bit more versatility. I'm doing quite messy lineup, but I'm quite proud of myself because I tend to really overwork this, so it's nice to kind of just chip into shapes a little bit. You can kind of see, yeah, I forgot to erase all of these lines before I merged. Oh no. You can see all of like my guidelines when I was like blocking out the torso from my 2 references. Even though he ended up pivoted the opposite direction to her, it still helped so much with like the hip placement, just having that reference. And yeah, I hope if I do like a subclass set of pages or like a PDF for this, I'd maybe like to do like a jazzed up one, like a really fancy looking one with some like sketches in it and you know, like some nice visuals to it. Not just this, but like maybe some sketches of a monk applying the paints, or like I want to do like at least one other illustration to show the different aesthetics you could go for, because you could go for something like this. I've just kind of put like a paint layer underneath just for my own mental preparation. Or you could just as easily have like a barbarian who just slaps a bunch of wall paint on, or you could have someone who uses, oh, you could flavor it like they have magical changing tattoos, you know, you can flavor stuff however you want. Just to spark the imagination and give people an idea of the kinds of ways that they could make a monk of the the Painted Soul, or from the Way of the Painted Soul, as they're called. It's nice. It's been nice to kind of try and loosen up my line art a little bit. I tend to go really high depth, high detail, without meaning to. There's another drawing I'm doing recently, hopefully once again for some more content. Just kind of chipping away at stuff when I get inspiration. That's like Borderlands inspired, and his face got rendered in so much higher detail and finer brush before I even like realized that that's what I was doing. So I'm trying to force myself to stay a little loosey-goosey. So this bit here is meant to be kind of tucked in, and then so you've got undershirt, then like a weird, that's like the trousers slash like a romper almost type thing here, and then on top of that like a scarf that's like been tucked in, which is very fantasy logic, but I think it's fun. To give you an idea on like how those move together, I'm thinking something like this, and then so that's this bit. Got the sash. These aren't the colours I'm going to use. This is just me showing you my brain logic. Then you got this, and then you've got this is kind of like a sash on top that maybe comes out here. If that kind of makes sense. So actually these colours are kind of fun. Maybe I'll play. I definitely want some oranges and yellows and stuff in there, but if that kind of makes sense, I kind of want to imply that this is tucked in some capacity, or maybe more like this is here, but then this is like some of these bits or something. Just so we have some really nice layering going on. If that kind of makes sense to you. I hope it does. You've got little necklaces and stuff just for more movement. I'm also trying not to do a really bad habit of mine, which is constantly going back to the sketch, because there will always be a greater sense of, I feel like, movement in like a very rough sketch, and while it's good to go back occasionally and make sure you've not lost too much, it's also fine to accept that like your refined one is going to fundamentally look different, and I'm really bad at like that. I have to remind myself. But maybe it's also, you know, my sign to keep things a little loose and a little playful with the mark making. That is too thick a brush. That's better. You see what I mean? Like you can see a lot of these areas where I've kind of like eaten into it. It's why I'm also trying to do it from a distance, so that I'm not, you know, I'm keeping it as a big picture thing as opposed to... I do feel like I messed up the wrist though, so we are gonna do my old patented special where I feather out a section, delete, and then delete this one, and then with their powers combined... Oh wait, I messed it up. There it is. That's better. Ooh, I like how this monk, with this monk, I'm starting to see a possible party of like homebrew third-party characters covering each class in a non-traditional way. Thank you, yeah. I've got a few other subclasses that I'm designing, so I have one in mind called College of Jesters, and the general idea is that what if calling someone a bitch was a bonus action? So it's kind of like giving them a free access to vicious mockery, and stuff like that. So you know, you can, that's the general kind of hashed out idea at the minute, is you can basically you know, as a jester, like, oh, you landed a hit, cool, you can as a bonus action cast vicious mockery. And so the entire subclass is kind of based around souping up vicious mockery. You could just insult people, you're kind of getting witty banter in between your hits. I need to work out what to do with the bardic inspiration, because bardic, almost every subclass uses bardic to do something. Like College of Eloquence lets you burn your bardics to reduce someone's saving throw, which is nuts and very fun. So need to work out something to do with that. But then like the Pièce de Resistance, I'm thinking, is something called Fool's Gambit at a later level, where you can voluntarily roll with disadvantage to get your bardics back. Just to kind of, you know, they're meant to be jesters, something silly like that. So I'm just working out what to do with their bardics. So that's another one. I'm just catching up on the chat. Someone says, so a class built around the magical tattoo concept that I think Tash has introduced. Yes, I think. I've not actually read a ton of Tash's Cauldron. I've only read bits and pieces. I don't actually have it. But in theory, maybe, yes, similar. It's kind of also meant to be based around like the meditative process of painting and like war paint. So a lot of you know, a lot of traditions from around the world have like very slow, long meditative processes of like applying traditional makeup, war paint, lots of ornate brushes. They all have different symbolic meanings. So it was meant to be kind of based around that and the idea of reshaping oneself, you know, mastery of the body and kind of looking at one's own image. But yes, if that is something similar to in Tasha's Cauldron, I will take your word for it. I don't claim that my ideas are always 100% the first time they've ever occurred. I guarantee someone else has already beat me to it with this sort of monk design. I guarantee there's someone else out there, probably on the internet. But that's okay. We'll be alright. I know this feeling. Name of the subclasses, please. Oh yeah, sorry. To repeat, this is called the Way of the Painted Soul. Is their shtick? I should make a subclass again. Yes, just do. Make some. It's fun. It makes you think about the game more, I feel. I do love flowing fabrics, etc. The shirt is lovely. Oh, thank you. Like having this monk, the tragedy bard from Critical Role, a stars druid, the kind of bar fighter subclass from Humble. Yes, they're called the Scofflaw. I really want to try the Scofflaw. It's the bar fighter subclass from Humblewood. It'll be fun, all non-traditional to their standard class. Yeah, I think that could be really fun. Laying is the spice of life when it comes to fantasy. Yes, layering up clothing is definitely like very peak fantasy. Sorry, I'm the COD lobby special. I'm assuming that's, I saw that pop up. That's in response to, yeah, the College of Jesters. What if calling someone a bitch was a bonus action? They sound like great ideas. Bardics could maybe be used to distract opponents or give vicious mockery additional effects. Oh yeah, so you could burn a bardic and you roll that instead of your D4, I believe, for vicious mockery. That could be really fun. Oh yeah, it sounds super interesting all around. Just made me go, since I have a rogue using those tattoos, he's got a 20 AC from it. Amazing. So I will be sharing the doc for this along with it. Sorry, I will come back to this beautiful person in just a sec. But I I will grab the document real quick for those who've just joined. Apologies if there's a lot of repetition for those who nipped in before, but I'm going to give you a quick TLDR rundown. So level 3, this is me skimming through super fast and not going into specifics. Level 3, when you choose this tradition, you get a proficiency in the nature skill and herbalism kits. I just thought that's fun. Big thing is you unlock your sacred pigments table. Basically, at level 3, you use, natural pigments to paint your body in some way. During a long rest, you may paint sacred pigments on up to 3 areas of your body, and there is like a table of the areas of the body you can paint, and you can activate a sacred pigment, which is the patterning and the abilities, in one of 2 ways. When you're in combat, when you're actually in combat with someone, when you make an unarmed strike, you can spend a key point to activate it as a free action. You do not need to hit the target for this effect to take place. You just need to have made a valid unarmed strike during combat. Or you can activate it at any time as a bonus action. The effect lasts for a minute or until you dismiss it. They can stack. Different types can stack, but you can't stack the same one. So if you activate a pigment that is already active, the new effect just replaces the old one. And then during a long rest, you can kind of repaint your body, so you can change up the areas. And there's 8 in the table. For the stomach, throat, arms, eyes, legs, forehead, spine, and chest. But I have put an MB basically saying, aesthetically, just flavour this however you want. If you want it to be that your character just always paints their face. But like, as long as you're mechanically adhering to the subclass. I hate it when people are like, no, you can't have any fun, you can't, aesthetically flavor. If you want to say that you have magic tattoos, if you want to be, I want to have at least one other piece of art, which is like a Goliath who has just like slapped on some war paint. If you want to be, super OTT with it, I think that's the fun of D&D. But rules as written it refers to areas of the body, so you can paint different areas of the body to get different effects. I hope that makes sense. Obviously, that was me skimming through a lot of errata. Someone said, tell me so people who can playtest because I have a character this will be. Yes, yeah, I'm gonna definitely get a doc for this on the Discord ASAP. So if you don't, if you're not on there yet, please do. In the video where I talk about this, I will also bring it up again. I'll be like, hey, head over here. I'll probably also put it on the Patreon for free, so like anyone can access it. Kind of like I did with the Parlor Maiden, if you guys remember that, the D&D boss that steals your dice. I put like the playtest version of that on Patreon. If you've not, go help yourself. I'm pretty certain I put it on Patreon. I definitely put it on the Discord. Maybe I should also double check. I'm pretty certain it was on Patreon as well. If not, I should rectify that. And then obviously, yeah, we've got the College of Jesters is another one I'm working on, as I said. And then, oh yeah, another thing with College of Jesters that I thought would be fun is that instead of an instrument, I think it was that you gain, if you don't already, proficiencies with martial weapons, and then a weapon you are proficient in of your choice becomes your spellcasting focus. So it is the embodiment of that bit in Megamind where he's like, aha, now we're going to engage in some witty banter. I just thought that'd be a fun class. And then I've also got a ranger class I'm kind of playing around with, where it's about root and mycelium networks. So the general idea is it's kind of like your ranger equivalent of the College of Spores druid, where you can like leave markers and seeds in locations and like communicate over long distances. I was thinking getting some tremor sense in there could be kind of fun. I felt like this was... no, that's about right. You can see me really labouring over this knee. It's just not kneeing. That's why I've got this reference here. Oh, let's get this hand sorted. What's going on with this hand up here? This needs some TLC. And while I'm doing this hand, I'm thinking, this is very roughly in place, but just to kind of help my own stupid brain on like where I want the paints to go, the sacred pigments. Oh, I shouldn't have gotten rid of that reference. I don't know why I did. I think I maybe accidentally deleted it. I don't know. I usually don't delete my references until I'm done with them. I'm not finished with you yet. I think I might even like kind of just simplify it back. I think that usually helps. You know what I mean? I think for the paint on the fingers, it would look quite nice if, once again, because it's inspired by different like body painting traditions from around the world, we have something like, I guess, similar to henna on the fingers. I don't know if that would be culturally disrespectful. More of an inspiration more than a direct one, but something like this maybe. Could be quite nice. Same here as well, like that. And it's just, I like the idea that like no two monks of this tradition would be the same. Like for every person who spends a huge chunk of, so the idea is that the minimum 30 minutes of meditation you have to do to regain your key points is the period during your long rest where you can be painting. So the idea is this is the meditation. Yeah, something like that could be quite nice. This is clearly someone who's leveled up quite a bit, because at future levels you can paint more areas of your body simultaneously, so this is like this is a master. Yeah, that's fun. I like that. Actually, I don't know about the shape of the... Yeah, maybe ease this in a little bit. Something more like that. I just want to play around with shapes. I don't want it to be like a flat wall, you know? Something like that. You get what I mean. Hi Finch, says Bird Alert. Hi, how's it going? Our monk child art, mom monk with her kids paint on her chest. That could be so cute. Henna is the first thing. Yeah, I think that's nice as well, because like, I always love when doing research or kind of deep diving is finding out where cultures have a lot of similarities. And one thing that is lovely about kind of real world culture, our human culture, is that so many different cultures around the world, almost all of them, in fact I think basically all of them, have traditions rooted in temporary or non-temporary body modification. Tattooing is something that was developed independently by like so many different cultures, and so the fact that like something like this can express so much about oneself, I think is lovely. And you know, D&D, and not just D&D, but all tabletop RPGs are about experimentation and expression and exploration, as much as anything else. So yeah, I thought this would be a nice way of doing that. Also, don't worry about the necklaces; they are on a separate layer, so I'm not about to ruin them. I might have ruined these shoulders a bit though, so we're gonna... I just want them to be a little more in keeping with the one here. I know that the fabric's more bunched here, but still, there should probably be just a little bit more of a curve to it. There we go, that feels better. And maybe, you can see I'm just softening these areas here and then going back in, just so I'm playing around with thickness and sharpness, and that's why I always have a backup layer in case I goof it. And then on top of that, I have some other D&D bits and pieces, so like some... you know, maybe at some point down the road I'll even like collate them all together into like a nice PDF or something, but some Warlock patron ideas. I've got some magical items, some bosses, in a similar vein to the Parlor Maiden, you know, some weird shenanigans. So yeah, watch the space. I wanna do more D&D stuff. I love tabletop RPGs. But anytime I've done writing in the past, because I have done some professional writing in the past, obviously it was always for other people and not myself, so it's nice to indulge in something for me. Hooray. Among other things, I just wanted to play around with the idea of like some absolutely bonkers Warlock patrons, so I have I think the thing that I always find interesting is exploring the different relationship dynamics between a Warlock and their patron. So it's kind of more about like pre-made, not just gods, but like entities and stuff to just kind of play around with. So there is a patron where you are, I haven't nailed a name for them yet, but let's say they're called, Zenith was the placeholder name, but I don't think Zenith is going to be their final form. The spouses of Zenith, so you are married to them or betrothed to them, and you are kind of... It's up to the DM. You may be in competition with the other spouses, or it may be very much like, hey, you guys are all married, get along. But some of them are more competitive or than others. But yes, so there's one where you are married to them. There was another one I had an idea of where you it's like more of like an adoptive thing, so you are a child of this individual, of a different individual, like a different patron. And oh god, there was another one. What was the other one? It's gonna come to me while I'm drawing this little sash here. Oh yeah, where each of you is an avatar, or each of its Warlock patronees, I suppose, are physical manifestations of a part of them. So one is, and they're kind of like trying to unite amongst themselves, but like one is known as the lungs, and one is known as the heart, and one is known as the whatever it is, and you know, so obviously the rest would be NPCs probably, but like the Warlock abilities are dependent on which supposed manifestation of this being's real world form or mortal plane form you are. I don't know, I just thought that could be fun. Got some fun NPCs to kind of bring in with that as well, including a demon woman who is or a devil rather, who's very nice. She has a wife. She lives on the mortal plane, and her entire shtick is checking contracts, so she can check Warlock contracts and stuff like that. Just playing around with some fun content for people. Ooh, that's, in fact, this is meant to be like an artsy dude. Let's see if we can get some more fun patterning going on in there. Yeah, something like that. Let me just read the chat. Not a Dutch guy says, is this a 5.0 subclass or have you gone over to 5.5? This one is a 5.0 subclass, but just because I've not played enough 5.5 to know if my balancing is on point, but I wouldn't be opposed to people offering, you know, like to kind of chat with me, or, you know, if someone's a bit more knowledgeable, I'm absolutely up to, you know, suggestions for 5.5. Not a question related to this stream exactly, but I found the old Chiron shorts. Are you planning on coming back to that world eventually? I am planning on coming back to Chiron eventually. Chiron was initially just a bit of Halloween fun, but enough people have said that they really enjoyed it, so I would like to do more with Chiron. I'll be fully honest, it's a really difficult thing of like trying to produce content that I know the viewers will like, and also, you know, this is not my full-time job. This is something I do outside of a full-time job, and so I think recently I've very much just surrendered myself to chipping away at things whenever I get a burst of energy or inspiration, and just kind of trying to stop myself burning out. But I would like to go back and revisit Chiron for sure, because I have a lot more ideas for it, and it let me collab a little with Professor Rad, who's a very talented voice actor, and I figure, you know, I could probably collab with a bunch of people. Chameleon cephalopod monk who is to control their skin colours into patterns, and it's an exercise of control. That could be fun. Yeah, once again, you can flavor this however you like. So if this is a guy who like magically that meditation period during his long rest is him focusing and changing his skin, I think that could be really fun. You can do a lot, I feel like, with this subclass. So yeah, absolutely, that's such a fun way of flavoring it. Homebrewing bug race is cute. So it says, I love Syndicate of Nan says, I love patron relationships. That's something so fun to play with. Yeah. Wizards have magic because they're nerds, while sorcerers have nepotism. That is true. And Devil Lawyer Lady is very fun. Yes, Devil Lawyer. Yeah, I just wanted to come up with some fun NPCs, patrons. You know, and then once I've got enough, maybe I'll just kind of stick them together in like a fun compendium of sorts. Maybe, you know, like you know, tip the bellhop, you know, give me $1 if you've got it spare, sort of thing, on Gumroad. I always wanted to do one. I kind of started putting one together a while back, and then realized what a huge undertaking it was to try and do it all in one go. But this sort of method where I'm just kind of making bits and pieces and eventually I'll have enough feels a lot more manageable and sustainable, so that's probably the way for it. It was going to be called, and you know what, I might still use it in the future if I do a compendium, On Hallowed Ground, and it was kind of just a all purposes, interesting new gods, patrons, magical items, some subclasses, and a few races. And also a bunch of pre-made, and also curses, that was the other thing, so fresh takes on curses that don't over-engineer it, but also don't make it so that any lift curse spell is enough to get rid of it, so just kind of like the right amount of complexity, so different forms of lycanthropy and all of that jazz. And, you know, I would like to still do that at some point, but I think it's definitely more of a chip away at it sort of thing. Not trying to bite off more than I can chew. Which we all do sometimes. I'm not, you know, I'm not going to beat myself up too much for it. But then it means that sometimes you can't focus on like the one thing. So like I wouldn't be enjoying focusing on this cool dude as much if I was thinking, oh god, now I've got to design 17 more things. But now because I'm just doing it whenever, it's more enjoyable for sure. You're about to see the very lazy way in which I do earrings and jewelry in just a sec. Because I think it'd be cool if you had some jewelry. Done. Let's get some asymmetry going here. Where do I want this? Here. Bear with me, you'll kind of see what I'm going for in a sec. Let me reduce the opacity ever so slightly. Well, and it's also been really nice as well to kind of be more open and honest about me trying to pace myself. You'd be surprised how many people leave very... I don't think they mean anything by it. I think they're, you know, when I say thoughtless, I don't mean that they're being malicious. I think it is genuinely, didn't even think about it. Where they'll be like, you know, you would have gotten more... Well, and you can't even know this for certain, but like, gotten more subs if you posted more. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but also... I don't want to burn out. So it's about learning to be kind to yourself, and if I can do anything for anyone with the platform that I do have, if it's just showing people that the grind set isn't for everyone and you should be nice to yourself, then I consider that a job well done. Hopefully you guys can kind of see where I'm going with this. Like some kind of wicker or bead type deal. Yeah, I like how that looks. Or maybe like that. And then you see what I mean? Yeah, I like that. And then maybe like more of a some kind of implied symbol. I don't like how strong that is though. There we go. Maybe as well, like trying to get that sense of movement, you know, breaking up the design, like implied tassels. Yeah, I like that. Me likey. Especially if, you know, he's meant to be an expressive guy. Yeah, something like that. I do feel like this bit could do with, because I can always add these shadows back in again later, but I do want to tidy this up just a scooch. A little bit of texture is not bad. I think adding a bit of texture in there is always nice, but I just want to jazz it up a bit. How did I go before? Oh, it's a lot further in. Maybe I need to carve back in a little. Yeah, okay, I kind of went a little too close to the sun. It happens. So actually, I should be reducing it here. Yeah, that does look closer to how I was imagining it. That explains it. I was like, what happened to the waist? I like that. And then you could just kind of... something like that. Yeah, I like that. That feels good. That feels good to me. Sorry, I am neglecting the chat. Let's read the chat. With the subclass, I would also see it something like a homebrew setting that would be a traditional monk temple populated by changelings. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You could do a lot of fun stuff with it. Love a bit of jewelry. I was tempted to build a cleric subclass all about channeling through jewelry. That could be really fun. I like that. How dare you pace yourself and take care of yourself? I know, I'm a monster. I'm irredeemable. I am sorry. Enrique says, you could be warmer in the cold if you burn a whole building, but negative effects offset the potential positives. Yeah. Don't burn buildings. Ah, okay. Only because you said so. Oh, regale us with your soothing tones. That is the first time I have have had my... Well, not the first time since the channel, but since before the channel, I don't view my voice as especially soothing, so that's very flattering, thank you. Also, yes to more Chiron content. I thought it was a little teaser for a big project, and Amster was super... I'm so pleased, yeah, it was just meant to be like a kind of silly, fun concept. I did have a lot more ideas for it, and I do have some like scripts for it, but then I was like, you know, if it's just a kind of flash in the pan Halloween thing, that's fine, but I think enough people kind of did want to see more that I should maybe dig those out and firm it up, so to speak, you know, like finish off some of the draft things I had, because yeah, people seem to really like it, which is nice. It's nice to do a bit of sci-fi. I do love me some sci-fi. I think it probably goes without saying, looking at Chiron, I really like Roadside Picnic. That's such an influential piece of science fiction, and not just for me, just to science fiction as a genre in general. It's the book that inspired the, you know, works like Annihilation. The book and the subsequent film. So yeah, absolutely, would love to. I'm gonna just remove the body paint here layer briefly, just so I can kind of see what I'm doing with the chest stitch. I do like how this guy's looking though. He feels fun. And hopefully adhering a little bit more to realistic body proportions than the compositional inspiration. Well, not her, obviously for the leggy bit. We stan our kickboxing, mixed martial or MMA, some kind of queen, but don't know what was going on with the fingies over there. Hopefully this is a little bit less spine breaking. I can't tell if what I was going for here is that this bit is the lip, or if this was meant to be like, you know, when the mouth is kind of like this and there's a little bit of teeth showing. I can't work out what I was going for here. If it was meant to be like teeth? I don't know. How was that meant to be? I think it was meant to be the upper lip. In which case, I should probably push it just a little bit more up there. It's weird, isn't it, to think that you didn't know what you were thinking when you were doing something, but I genuinely, genuinely don't know. Trying to tidy things up, especially because I decided to shade a bunch of this, which is very silly of me because now it's a little harder to tidy those sections. You can kind of see what I'm going for. Maybe. I left it intentionally quite blank before because I was like, well, you know, I'm gonna be covering this in face paint. But it'd be good to clean up just a little. I think what I'm also going to do as well is hold on to your seats, everyone. We're going to flip the canvas. Whoa! Just so that I can kind of get a fresh perspective on it. I'm not really sure what I was trying to do down here. There's a lot of construction lines that don't quite visually make sense to me. And then there we go. This is why you keep your previous sketch. Yeah, something like that. And now let's flip back around and watch it look horrible. Hey, it doesn't. That means we're on to a winner. For anyone who doesn't know why a lot of artists flip their canvas, it's because everyone, to a certain degree, has a bias in terms of direction, which is usually just based on what direction your language reads in. And then when you flip it, it tends to look different. And a good rule of thumb is if it looks good both directions, you're probably onto something. Once again, we don't want it to be too tidy or precious, but I am going to tidy up some weird floaty bits here that I don't know if you can see, but I can see. I know they're there. So I think let's just tidy this a little. kind of looks like he's pulling the shirt back. That wasn't the aim. He's just meant to have like a, a fist prepared, but it's kind of reading that way a little bit. That wasn't intentional. Just looking at how I did because I did like how I did the abs. I've been trying to get better at it. That sort of muscular physique. Maybe tone it down just a little. Something like that. We can work with that. And then I think what was going on here was this was actually shadow. Yeah. So, I mean, let's get some of that in there. Nice. I like that. I don't know what's going on with this leggy, but I'm wondering if, and this is going to be a big change, we want to just do the whole body. We're so close, it's just a foot. I mean, it almost killed me drawing the other foot, but... I mean, I think we should try. Height, like that. I always forget to do that. Image, canvas size, make sure it's rooted to the top, then do. Let's try 3700. I'll shrink my references down. I don't know why I cropped it in so far. I just wanted to not make it too wide. 3600. I mean, we might as well do the foot while we're here now. Methinks. That is looking better from like the sketch has its own charm, but you know, we're wanting to like it's not a bad sketch tool, but it's nice to clear things up and stuff. Yeah, I'm just gonna do some more of these real quick.
Every 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Something like that. Let me look at the chat. Sorry, I've been abandoning you. I got D&D in 5, Bonky McNoggin says. Amazing, what a appropriate thing. It's so good to see you. I mean, same happened with Subjectively, an awesome idea that expanded through the creator and fans and became its own thing entirely. Someone says MMA or Muay Thai. Yeah, or Muay. I'm not sure on the pronunciation. Yeah, there's definitely, it feels MMA-ish. There's lots of kicking in that. Phantom Crustacean says also, hi, I can't remember which video in particular I found your channel, but I'm here regardless, so hello. I think I've been here a while. Hey, good to have you. I do love the face of this guy. Brit's face is a peak. Oh, thank you. Someone says I totally read it as the shirt being pulled back. And if the foot doesn't go, I'll put a bit of flavorful mist or rock in the way. Yes, absolutely. To be fair, pulling the shirt back kind of works in this case because it's like showing off the paint. So it wasn't the intention. The intention was that it was a fist. But you know what? I think the fact it ended up that way isn't the end of the world. You know, like that still reads okay to me. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it, actually. Right. Working out what I'm doing with these legs as well, because you can tell where I stopped referencing one image and started referencing another. I think like ties off around the legs, but also I like this clean line. Much to ponder. Just gonna duplicate because it's been a hot minute. So maybe some. Just juicing this down a little. Do-do-do. The problem is I really like the cleanness of having that knee, like the silhouette of it, but I think we can have a little bit of fabric bunching around there and not completely ruin the silhouette, you know? Still imply like ties of some description or, you know, something like that. You know what I mean? Something like that, and then you could also have it down here. I mean, there can be asymmetry. It can be implied that it's kind of a self-done wrap job, but you want some homogeny in there. I mean, we've still got this kind of planned, not those colours necessarily, but that kind of layer into it. I feel like monks always look really cool when you do lots of light layers. You can kind of see what I'm going for. We're feeling it out. It's okay if it doesn't always work out. That was me reassuring myself as much as anything. There you go. There's kind of like an inseam to help me plot this out. The trick is to just keep adding lines until it looks correct. It's orc logic, you know, if you stick enough, or Warhammer orc logic, if you stick enough glowy things until it looks like it works, then it works. Oh. Just soften that out a little. If it looks like I'm kind of, you know, doing something and then redoing it, it's just because I'm trying to do it just a little cleaner. I'm just trying to find that right balance between, you know, nice rough textures and like too much going on. And also trying to, in my mind, what you guys can't see is like my mind's eye where I'm thinking about how I'm going to colour this. And obviously that's going to affect this somewhat. And then I think, because I'm trying to stream a little more, the next stream I'm going to do is I started drawing Magisa Osentu, who was the fan Golden Bone character that got made canon in my art event, and I thought I should finish the fan art of him that I was doing, his kind of official entry into the universe on stream. I thought that'd be really nice. So hopefully soon I will do that. Maybe I'll see how I feel tomorrow. I'm not going to promise for tomorrow because you never know how you feel. You know, it's the weekend. I want to make sure that I get some relaxing time in. But if I'm feeling up for it, it might be quite nice. There was something... Ah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking here and here needs softening up, and then a much thinner one. Like that. I prefer that. Yeah, there you go. That makes me happy. Oh, I didn't... something like that feels better. There we go. It really is just vibes based. I think that's most art. If people are being 100% honest with themselves, it's pure... I'm running on pure vibes, baby. No thought, head empty. Vibes only. Cool, okay. No, I hit the wrong keyboard shortcut. What am I like? It's because I use a different keyboard during the week at work. And then I'm like always just a few millimeters off. Tidy that up a little. There it is. That feels better. Just checking the chat. And if the foot doesn't go well, he's showing us his cool art. Yes, yeah, he's showing us his body paint. I'm just chilling, praying for the last session of a 4-year campaign, listening to you in the background. It works great together. Oh, he's like, look at my new ink, bro. Breaks your nose. Yeah. Coming to the end of a 4-year campaign, it's intense, like emotionally intense. Not a Dutch guy, 100%. Like it's I'm pleased to, however small, be a part of that that process. I think tabletop RPGs are just such a great medium, and I've never subscribed. I get it, I get where it comes from, but I've never subscribed to the kind of, especially with Dungeons and Dragons, the kind of gatekeeping-y behavior you can see. Like, I love tabletop RPGs as a whole. My first one that I played was Call of Cthulhu, and that was kind of me. I was hooked, you know. But obviously in recent years, especially for D&D, there's been a massive amount of popularity increase. Critical Role, Dimension 20, the Adventure Zone, Baldur's Gate 3, you know, like so many great pieces of... I've not watched Adventure Zone, but I know it's very popular. And like, I get it. I was bullied a lot for liking tabletop RPGs growing up, and now it's like, oh, it's cool now, is it? And, you know, that defensiveness can make people very... you know, it comes from a legit place, and it can make people very gatekeepery, unfortunately, and that's not on. I've literally offered you know, DM for people, and they've been like, oh, I would try it with you, but I'll be honest, I got put off playing because I didn't have a very nice time with some people. And I was like, that sucks, man, you know. I think tabletop role-playing games are wonderful. You see what I'm trying to do here? I'm trying to get that volume. That'll do. Let's turn that shade into almost like an opportunity for me to do more filigree painting later, because I want to really jazz this up. If there was ever a monk who was going to look fresh as all hell, it would be this guy. So I feel like I need to, you know, like all these trim bits that I'm adding, just to make sure that I've got, you know, plenty of chance to add some cool patterns and stuff like that. Because you know that they're dripped out. Maybe not all the monks of the Painted Soul, but certainly certainly this dude. This dude feels like he'd be dripped out. It's very sweet as well. I have some friends who are like, to be fair, not chronically online, and good for them, because I'm definitely online more than I should be. Not always, but frequently. And they don't quite realize that, like, you know, I'm grateful for every single subscriber, but I'm not like a huge art YouTuber, you know. And so, well, obviously, yeah, it would be the dream. They were like, oh my gosh, you should, like, as if it was just something I could do, like collab with Drawfee. And I was like, I would love to, but I don't think that's, I think that's something that would probably have to happen from their end. You know, because they're only like tangentially aware of art YouTubers, and they've kind of lumped me into that category. But it was very flattering for them to think of me, hold me in the same esteem. They meant it as a nice thing. I'm not gonna, you know, have a go at them like, oh my god, don't you know that they're like, whatever it is. It's like, the reason they don't know is because they don't spend all their time online, and that's a good thing, so I'm not gonna begrudge them that. I'm trying to get like a bit of a sheen going on the leggy. I think this leggy is going to be bare just so I can show off more tattoos, or body paint rather. We're getting closer to me drawing that second foot, but I kind of want to have the rest of the thing puzzled out, because it's all proportional, right? So You know when you just like fully forget how you did something? There we go. Maybe the wraps are more like that, and then I don't know how foot wraps work, I'm realizing. If you can't tell, I'm tilting my head sideways at my screen as we speak. How did I yeah, that's what I did here. So why does it feel different? Ah! What's happening? There we go, something like that. It's just got to imply it. And no, there we go. That'll do. You know what? No one looks that closely at it. This is what I'm talking about. I'm really bad for it. I'll just start overworking a bit that just does not need to be overworked. There we go. That'll do. Why am I overworking it so much? Let's not do that. There we go. Sorry, let me check the chat. Hello! Oh my gosh, the Fantasy Forge! The Fantasy Forge is here! Hi! How's it going? Good to see you! This is, so Fantasy Forge actually very kindly took a look at the first completely incoherent draft of, of this character. Since then, it has had like a massive rework. We were kind of all doing it in the Discord the other day, but Fantasy Forge was right there on the ground floor. So hi, it's so good of you to stop by. I always love to see you. Not a Dutch guy says, oh yeah, it's an emotional one, this one. I've been playing with these guys for 26 years now. I've been playing. Yeah, it is. Cameos in from various other old campaigns and characters. Ah, that's so special. I really love that. Love Call of Cthulhu. Can't believe that was your first RPG. Yeah, my first ever tabletop RPG was Call of Cthulhu. I forget which edition, not the latest one. This was like over a decade ago. But yeah, that was my first tabletop RPG. Oh, not a huge. Well, you settled for a small YouTube. Good one. Rip collab with Drawfee would go hard for real. Oh, thank you. I would think so. Yes, I would love to. I'm a big fan of their work. But it was just very sweet, like to see a friend and someone who's not in those spaces, their perspective, and it was very flattering that they held me in that kind of esteem. I was very flattered by that. Small YouTuber, love it. Super random detail, but I love the crease. I think that's meant to be in the pants at the crotch, not for wood. Thank you. Yeah, no, I completely get what you mean. That means a lot. Yeah, it is that thing of like drawing fabric can be really tricky, and then sometimes you get that crease or that whatever is just right, and you're like, oh yeah, that's I look like I know what I'm doing. So yeah, thank you. That means a lot. You're just in time, Fancy Forge, because we are, well, we have been putting off drawing the foot. I have been putting off drawing this second foot, but it feels silly. It's because this started as like a 3/4 model, and then with or drawing rather, and then with this reference here, I just kept going and going and going, and before I knew it, it's basically a full body. So at this point, we might as well just do a full body. Then the question is, do I have it in me? Because sometimes I will draw something and it works out immediately, and sometimes I'll draw something and I actually make myself want to cry because it's just not happening. You guys can kind of see the pose I'm going for. That sort of thing. I rewatched Disney's Tarzan the other day, so that's the thing kind of going through my head at the minute. I feel like, because the angle's all funny, it's hard to tell if the foreshortening would compensate for the leg being that short. Tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna move him up just a scooch. We're gonna do a little flippy, just to give us a fresh perspective. I feel like it can go lower, even with the foreshortening. Tell you what we're gonna do as well. Canvas size, height. Because I'm loath to get rid of the details by shrinking everything, so I'm just going to make the canvas bigger. Yeah, I mean, like, that's... You guys can kind of see what I'm going for, I hope. Maybe need to tweak the proportions a little, thicken some bits up and stuff, but maybe something like that. And we'll flip it back just to have a looky-loo. Yeah, I mean, that feels good. That feels good to me. I think we can work with that. Yeah, we can work with this. We can. I believe in us. I believe in the heart of the cards. Says the circular pattern on chest is lovely. I love patterns like that. Thank you. It's very similar to a pattern that my Asimar character in a D&D campaign I'm currently in has. But that's because, yeah, it's because he's like an ASMR and it's like a weird gold thing, but I do like those kind of like concentric, it doesn't have to be circles, like patterns or like that sort of stuff broken up by straight lines. I always think that looks cool. Hands and feet are so hard to Vanity Forge. They are. I love and hate them in equal measure. Did you mention once that you love drawing hands but not feet? Am I making up? I much prefer drawing hands to feet because you can just, yeah, I definitely much prefer hands to feet, because hands you can just do some like silly gestury stuff, and feet just, you don't get that same shape language to them. So like with a hand you can do like, you know, this sort of thing. You can have like cool spindly stuff. You can do a lot with character design as well, so like it's the difference between regular nails and giving someone almost like canine pads. There's just so much you can do with fingies, and I just don't, I think you can still do stuff with feet, but I also don't practice them enough, so I suck at drawing them. It's almost like if you practice at something you get better at it, like, but no practice, only draw. Yeah, but I prefer hands, certainly. Tarzan's angular edges are so cool. Atlantis Lost Empire had that too. Yeah, the way they do like the knuckles and the feet in the Tarzan movie are just, mwah, I love them so much. Bird Alert talking about the stylization of post-Renaissance, even like the style of some of the flop movies. Yes, yeah, for sure. I love all of that stuff. There's some really gorgeous artwork in there, and people who just really knew what they were doing. Not saying people don't now, but I just mean as someone who doesn't do that kind of animation, it's phenomenal to watch those sorts of people work, or see the work they do. I was also rewatching The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and yeah, just holy crap. So good. Forgot quite how good it was. And also forgot there was quite a lot of like tenderness, not necessarily romantic, but just like tenderness between Phoebus and Quasimodo, and I really liked that. It was really nice to see it. There was a lot of opportunities for them to kind of develop their relationship on screen, which I didn't anticipate, and I for some reason didn't remember. To the point where I think it is at the kind of the climax, Phoebus who ends up saving Quasimodo's life, and they share a hug, like quite a tight one, and I just straight up did not remember that happening, which was lovely. It was nice to see. It's important to kind of show that, like, normalize that kind of affection between men. Just, you can see how messy this was before, so you can see me kind of just trying to, I know I'm not going to get rid of all of it, but I'm desperately trying to just clean it up enough that it feels a little more coherent. Maybe it looks already okay to you guys, but for me, for my benefit. And then like some muscles. Oh, I forgot what these muscles are called. This one, I was going to make this bit as wide as these ones up here, but these ones would bulge out a little more because he's compressed his leg, I think. I can, like Mufasa looking down from above, I can imagine my life drawing teacher from university kind of tutting right now, because I'm probably doing something wrong. Like, you can go stylized, but if you can try and stick to certain rules within that stylization, it kind of helps sell it, if you know what I mean. It sells the illusion. It was actually a really nice lesson that we learned quite early into like first week or so of like doing concept art, where they were like, we're going to teach you what they taught the old classics, you know, like women traditionally described this way, men traditionally, when I say described, I mean like in terms of drawing, using these shapes. And they were like, not so that you have to stick to these, but so that in order to break the rules, you first have to know what, and the convention, you first have to know what those rules and conventions are. And I thought that was a really fun, interesting way of reframing the classics, but not completely ignoring them, kind of looking at your predecessors and then working out from there where you want to kind of take things. And I really liked that. I thought that was really good. I appreciated that learning moment. Okay, I'm feeling better about this. I'm not, once again, I'm just, the one set of feet I did for Macaria a while back feel more and more like a fluke. I mean, I was using a reference to be fair, but still, they feel more and more like a fluke every single day. We're just gonna keep adding and taking bits away until it feels right. It's the way of things. It's kind of arching. I'm just looking at this MMA lady. And then because we can get away with quite a bit, most people aren't going to look that far down, but I want it to pass that across the room test, you know? That's feeling actually pretty good. I think that's not as bad as it could have been, and I don't completely hate it. And it's also going to be covered in wraps, so that's going to help a lot with perspective, I feel. So let's flip him back around. Apologise for all the canvas flipping, but okay, you know what? It doesn't look too bad. And I think also once I add, you know, I'll probably leave it for now in case I want to use this in different locations, but you know what I mean, right? Like if I were to ground it a little, I feel like it'll read better. You feel me? In fact, I will probably just add a couple of subtle lines just for my own benefit. Yeah, that does look right. Okay, we're good. I'm gonna look at the chat now. I'm peering with one little beady eye. You're too good at feet, it's suspicious. That's so kind of you. Sometimes it just works out. Sometimes it just works out, or I think sometimes I get in my own head a bit too much. That's why I ramble, and talking can really like it can help. Normalize hugging. Someone hug me. Fancy Forge, if we lived closer, I would 100% come and give you a big ol' hug, but unfortunately we are currently separated by the Atlantic Ocean. I can't believe I've forgotten my oceans. You can tell it's late. The Atlantic Ocean. We're currently. I definitely didn't just Google a world map. I gotta go sleep. Was lovely to catch another stream. Brilliant. Not a Dutch guy. If you're not already gone, if you watch this back at some point, I best of luck with your D&D campaign. This is a weird compliment, I think, but I love how anatomical your art is. I love the musculature and the details. No, that is, that's actually a really, really kind compliment. Thank you. I've been trying to, you know, kind of try different things with my art style. Sometimes I like to keep it quite rough around the edges, but I'm trying to. I've been doing a lot of like very stylized studies recently, especially around faces. In fact, tell you what, I can probably grab some of these up. Let me find them. Where are they? Where are they? You know, so this sort of thing. So kind of trying to describe things with minimal construction lines and stuff like that. So to hear that it's coming across that way is actually a real compliment. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Where's like this guy that I've been working on, like trying out different outfits for him and stuff like that. But trying to describe things clearly and concisely. And sometimes it's harder than you think, and I do tend to, I don't know, overwork things probably is the right term for it. Oh, there was a golden bone thing I was working. Where is it? Where is it? I can't believe I've forgotten what I was looking for. God, I think my brain is completely cooked. Oh, I was literally looking for Nagisa. Where'd I put him? I didn't put him in the right folder. Nagisa's missing. Nagisa. Wait, where is he? I don't know where he is. Nagisa, the Golden Bone character, that won the art event, is, excuse me, one that I'm hoping to maybe describe in a slightly rougher style. I can't believe I can't remember what I named him. He's in here somewhere. I'll find him later. Oh god, it's all going wrong. There we go. I'm losing it, everyone. Fancy Forge, I've said it to them a million times, super detailed stuff, and oh, thank you. These guys, you're gonna make me blush. Thank you. I appreciate it. I think because I spend so much time with other artists, it's easy to forget. Well, this is the thing. It even feels weird to say how skill, but definitely that I have a drawing skill. And I think sometimes you forget. There was a really cool image recently that I saw, and I can't find it anywhere now, which really bugs me, where it was like, I'm trying to think, I'll just scribble it. It was like a close-up of someone on some stairs, like looking up at someone, like an artist up here, and saying something like, oh, I'll never be as good as, that person is better than me, or something. And then it did like a zoom out to the staircase like this, and they're both like at the top of it, like in terms of skill and experience. And while I don't think I'm like right at the top, I do think it's good to have a reality check that. Well, this is the thing. It's why I try really hard not to completely slag off my work and explain why I'm making a change or dislike something, because I've been there where, as an artist, I've seen someone who does have a bit more experience than me say, this is shit, this is so bad, and then I'm sitting there like, well, what does that make my art then? So I'm trying to be the change I want to see in the world. maybe to varying degrees of success. What I'm trying to do here is find just the right amount of lines to describe that bone running down the leg without over emphasizing it. Something like that. There you go. Someone just said, I love the, let's see, wait, sorry, I'm catching up. Random Gamer's turning in for the night. Sleep well, Random Gamer, 1942. Sleep well. Love seeing how this idea is getting on. Great work as always. Thank you, H. Oh, it's Jolly. Hi, Jolly. Yes, I also have tweaked the class a little bit since last we all were working on it, so there'll be some exciting changes for kind of everyone to see when I release the beta for this, which will be nice. But thank you so much for you. You were one of the people who jumped in and gave your thoughts and kind of questioned bits and pieces, and it was really helpful, so thank you again. I'm just adding some little construction lines here just to help the flow of the whole thing, if that kind of makes sense. There you go. Why is that? Oh, because it's more like this? Wait, more like this? More like this. I'm gonna keep saying more like this until I draw it correctly, and then we're all gonna pretend I did that on the first go. More like this. Wow, I can't believe I did that and I only drew the line once. That's crazy. There we go. I love the necklace flying back, gives it some dynamism. That's what. Thank you. Yeah, there's a reason I stuck those on like a separate layer, because I was like, I really like how those are turning out. The last thing we're gonna maybe do here is make this into something, because it's not really anything at the minute. But he now has an extra foot, and it feels good. It feels good that he's got that extra foot. Good for him. Separated by the Atlantic and about 3,000 miles of land. Yeah, unfortunately. Maybe one day we'll meet and have a pint. Looks a little like Arcane, I love it. If I had the money, you'd be my pick to the concept art of my wall. Thank you! Yeah, well, it's very sweet of you, and I understand that money is tight for everyone, and yeah, it's, God, I mean, like, that whole discussion now, especially with, like, AI art, is always such a tricky one. There were strong words and discussions had at the pub with some old workmates last night, and most of them are artists as well, but there were a few there who were not, and yeah, there was definitely some interesting stuff there. I think the big thing with, I mean, all of the social impact stuff aside, all of the environmental impact aside, the big one for me is that if you really want concept art where you have any granular control over the outcome, after a point it is just quicker and more convenient and doesn't use the same energy as burning down a rainforest to just ask a person, because they can make minor tweaks without having to rerun the whole thing. And also, it is just nice to work with another artist. So you folks out there, if you ever do get the chance to work with a real human being, please do. I think I'm going to to turn this into almost like a stone, like a gua sha looking stone. Actually, I don't like that. I like this more. Like just a little gemstone, or like a river stone. There we go. I think also while I'm here, let's just remove the paint. This is... I feel like we can tidy this up just a little bit more. This is why I made the necklaces separate. And then... maybe. Just trying to smooth that out. I feel like, it's just feeling a little too dark around those areas now. I think it's also because I didn't really rub it out on this section. I think what might work is if I do that. Yeah, that'll do. I think the one thing is they got a little bit of a pointy head going on here, so we're maybe gonna just look at that real quick. Just kind of smooth that out a little. Something like that. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I feel like this is basically there. I'm just working out if I want to add any more like fripperies. The paint is still very like in its rough stages, but I'll probably make it more like iridescent. But I just wanted to like block it out in a way that, I don't know, it's good to draw planning ahead to kind of what you're gonna do. I think once again, like I said before, this is gonna be like a master of this subclass, so he's gonna have like a bunch of different parts of his body painted, and I really like these like floral designs. This is definitely very henna inspired. Hopefully coming across as loving homage, and I've not done any cultural faux pas in that regard. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of doing scribbly shapes, but hopefully it comes across. Especially because every one of these monks could do it completely differently. So like I said, I definitely want to get at least one more illustration for this class, which is like a more barbarian-esque looking monk who just kind of like, I don't know, basically did the equivalent of where you oh shit. I just realized I did it on the wrong layer. Well, crap. Oh, it happens to us all. Hey, could AI do that? Could AI... drawn the wrong layer after they really liked it. Oh well. We're gonna stay calm about it. Just, you know, but basically do the equivalent of this. You know, like someone could just do something like that, or just like, you know, like Furiosa in Mad Max, where it's just like this. Like, that's just as valid if you wanted to flavor it so that it's like, I don't know, like like magical tattoos that shift each day. If you want to say that they just paint their face and the face symbols are what's different, as long as you mechanically stick to it, I think that's more in the spirit of the subclass is, you know, the creativity and the self-expression. That's what these guys are all about, right? So I think as long as you're doing that and you're keeping things balanced by just sticking to certain pigment effects, you can do whatever you want. It's almost like D&D is meant to be fun, and some people really do lose sight of that sometimes, I swear. There we go. See, no harm, no foul. We're gonna pretend that I didn't completely make a boo-boo there. There we go. Okay, so that's just to help me out when I'm painting the tattoos, but I think I might call it there in just a sec because I'm happy with the line art. Oh, excuse me, and I've been streaming for a little while. Dude, my college forced us to write a presentation on the positive use of AI and concept art. It was a concept art. God, that's ridiculous. That seems very counterintuitive. I agree, Fantasy Forge. Oh my gosh, hello. Hello, kitty. Hello, kitty cat. Hello, the guy's the executive producer is here. Hi. He's a good boy. I love you. He loves me too, in his own way. Bird says, my big gripe with AI is actually it has too few constraints. In my process, mistakes and misinformation really influence how I make stuff. Yeah, it's... I don't know, it just feels like a big hammer nothing. Humans make art, and for me, half of the meaning is thinking about what a person was thinking when they made it, and that just doesn't exist for me with any of that stuff. Pendant Blade says, as much as I like Shaolin-based monks, it's nice to see monks based on other martial arts cultures. Thank you, yes, yeah, and the Way of the Painted Soul, I'm hoping, is one that speaks to a lot of different cultures. Lots of cultures have face paints, painting, tattoos, war paint, all of that jazz. There's I think a Pacific Islander culture. I'd have to double check, I don't want to misspeak. And then there's one in Mesoamerica that does the same thing, where they have these very long, thin brush heads, as in like the heads of the brush. The actual like hair bit is like really long and thin, and they do these very intricate lines on their body. There's so many amazing cultures out there that do this sort of thing, and it's a real delight to kind of see all those forms of expression, and it's really fun to make a class that kind of lets you play around with that. So hopefully I'll have this done soon, because the class is looking pretty okay. If you want to nip over to the Discord if you haven't already, I would probably, as in like if you're not a member already, I'm gonna probably do like one final pass where I'll like temporarily reopen up the Google Doc again and kind of just be like, hey, do you have any final thoughts? Do we want to kind of double check before we make this like a test PDF? But I'm really pleased with it so far. I'm really liking the direction it's headed, and also the idea of like those you know, this like the quote, the flavor text at the beginning, it's where at some point it says, "Today I am swift as the coursing wind, tomorrow may be the mountain." I just like the idea of a monk that's got adaptability. I realised I've said how many like parts of their body they can have painted, but I've not actually said what anything does. I do have a disc called Bird Alert. Yes, yeah, it's linked in, I think, even the description of this live stream, basically all my videos, but please do come along. Before I kind of start wrapping up though, I realised I've not actually said what each of the effects do. And there are restrictions to like how you can activate them and how many you can have prepared, so you can't have all 8 prepared. Stomach, I won't say the areas of the body because they're just guidelines, people can do whatever as long as they're only using the correct number of abilities prepared. Vitality, you gain resistance to 1 damage type of your choice. Discipline, you gain immunity to one of the following conditions: petrified, stunned, paralyzed, charmed, frightened, blinded, or deafened. Impetus, your unarmed strikes deal an extra 1d4 damage of your choice of radiant, acid, poison, or force damage. This increases to 1d6 at level 6 and 1d8 at level 11. Vigilance, you gain the effects of see invisibility within 10 feet. At level 11, you may instead gain true sight. Quicken, when a creature within 10 feet makes an attack against you, you can use your reaction to move up to half your movement speed without provoking opportunity attacks. If you're still within range after your movement, the creature may continue with their attack. Foresight, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on an attack roll against you or a creature within 10 feet of you. Shudder, you can take the hide action as a bonus action, and attack rolls against you have disadvantage if you haven't moved this turn. And Ward, at the start of your turn you gain temporary hit points equal to your wisdom modifier. So those are the available ones. I'm still tweaking and balancing them, but those are the possible markings that you can paint onto your body. Way of the Painted Soul is correct. Yes, thank you, Fantasy Forge. Yeah, that's Way of the Painted Soul. They during their long rests they can paint certain parts of their body with these like sacred minerals made of natural materials, and they can use ki to activate them. So it's less about like tattoos. I mean, you could flavor them as like magic tattoos that move around, but it's more like during their meditation to regain their ki. They can like, well, but only during a long rest, they can repaint parts of their body and channel new abilities, so they're like highly adaptable is their main shtick. And then at later levels they can do fun things like you can paint more areas of your, so basically have more abilities prepared. At level 6 you can have 4 areas painted. Once per long or short rest, when you activate a sacred pigment, you can choose to activate 2 simultaneously but only spend 1 ki. Ability called Third Eye at level 6. Once per long rest, you can open your mind up to greater spiritual enlightenment. For 5 minutes, you gain the effects of comprehend languages and can see the ethereal plane. Lots of fun little bits and pieces. Later on, you can, I think it's level 11. Whenever you activate a sacred pigment, you can choose to grant its effect to 1 willing creature within 10 feet of you. That sort of stuff. Oh, that's dope as hell, says Top Shock. Thank you. I try. It's definitely still something that needs to be play tested, but you know, I'm not gonna wait until it's perfect before I before I put it out there. But certainly something fun to play around with, the idea of kind of painting one's body and mastering yourself. Sorry, I just saw something from someone else, but it's a baby artist here. Bear with me, I want to do this line here because the shape of the head was bugging me. There we go. Okay, that feels better. Sorry, let me read that properly. Art Baby here, why do you have 3 copies and layers? So in this case, it is literally just old copies of the line art. So you've got, let me turn off the paint real quick. You got version 1, where we hadn't even drawn the foot yet, version 2, and then version 3. So it was literally just, you know, making basically backup copies. That's literally it. It's just backup copies in this case. I also do have the necklace on a separate layer, so I don't affect that part when maybe I'm trying to. Also just getting the lip in situ, because sometimes you're like, oh, I feel like I've lost the feel of the sketch layer. It's like, well, have I actually overworked a section? Is the shape not as it once was? That sort of thing. Thinking of which, the mouth feels better here, so I am actually going to duplicate this layer. Do a little one of these. Feather. Invert, delete. Go up to this layer. Oh, wrong way. Delete the mouth. Combine the two. That feels better. I like that more. But that's kind of it really, is just I'm probably not going to colour tonight because it's quite late already. This is not probably the colours I'm going to use, but this was just for my own mental like juggling, like which bit is which. Yeah, but I hope that kind of at least answered it somewhat. That it's just me having options to backtrack a little bit. Yeah, so these colours probably, sorry, I was just reading the chat. These colours probably aren't the ones, but I picked very contrasting colours just to, earlier in the stream, like, show people, especially on my, like, sketch where it was less clear, roughly where how I imagine the flow of the fabric to be. I'm not sure if, this is probably going to not be like this. I think it might look better if the trousers are also separate, if you know what I mean. So if the trousers are like their own thing as well. I don't know. I mean, once again, it won't be these colours. Don't worry, it's not going to be that gaudy, but it's just working out what the balance is going to be like. I don't usually operate this way, but I think it's good if you're trying to quickly like communicate an idea to someone. Is just to break things up into very obviously different colours. I don't know, maybe. And these would definitely, I want lots of rainbow. I want lots of rainbow and colourful stuff. So even if it's not these colours, there will be, it will be very colourful. For sure. Have you designed a rat barbarian? No, I have not. Kind of reminds me of Goku and Aang. I mean, like, to be fair, Aang was based on a Tibetan monk, as were the airbenders in general. They're inspired by that culture, so it would make sense. They're thinking of which, I did see the other day someone draw like post a picture of, they were in Upiat and they were sharing a picture of themselves in like traditional gear, and someone was like, it kind of reminds, you kind of like cosplayed as like Katara, and they were like, you do realize what like the Water Tribe culture was based on, right? And they were like, oh my god, I didn't realize it was like a real thing. It's very funny. Why am I colouring this bit? It's not going to be these colours. I just see colouring that needs to be done, and I can't help myself. What can I say? But yeah, that's the kind of breakdown of the flow of the fabric. So whatever's up here is going to be down here. I'm not saying that this will necessarily be the same colour as this, but just to help me get to grips with it. That being said, I'm probably not going to do the colour tonight because it is late and we've been at it for a while. I've been yapping, so I'll probably do some other stuff. What kind of monk is this, Bofrab? Yes, as the Fantasy Forge says, it is a new subclass I've made called the Way of the Painted Soul. Hopefully, stay tuned, watch the space, check out the channel. I'm gonna very soon be posting a video on it and kind of how I personally approach designing subclasses for D&D. I was going to say for tabletop RPGs in general, but I think subclasses are typically quite a D&D-esque thing. But yeah, it will be available for you know, there'll be a playtest document, and you know, hopefully lots of people have some fun with it. You know, tabletop RPGs are meant to be fun, and I think too many people get bogged down sometimes with maybe, I guess, like power gaming, for want of a better term. Like, you know, obviously I don't want this to be overpowered or underpowered, but I think as long as it feels like you're making a contribution and you're having fun, in D&D in general, I don't think you should, you know, make it the be-all end-all on if everyone is 100% perfectly power balanced. I don't think you're playing it for maybe the right reasons at that point, if you know what I mean. Dynamo says, oh no, I got here at the end of the stream. Ah, yes, that's okay though, you could always make the next one. And someone says, yeah, I don't think I've seen other games for subclasses. Sounds cool as heck. Like, thank you, Bofrab. Yeah, I really have fun with this. So thank you so much, guys. Yeah, I really enjoyed kind of waxing lyrical and chatting with you guys. I'm gonna definitely try and stream a little bit more. It's just been kind of, you know, juggling life, work, chronic illness, you know, just kind of going with the ebb and flow of things at the minute, and trying to not put too much pressure on myself. You know, this isn't my full-time job, and the second I turn it into one, we're not having fun anymore, right? So just continuing to try and have fun with this, and hopefully we'll have something very fun. I can't wait to hear or see anyone having a go playtesting this in a campaign. So the sooner I get this done, the sooner that can happen. Yeah, if you want to min-max play war games, I do agree. It's true, which I also do play. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I will hopefully see you guys soon. In the meantime, if you do want to kind of keep tabs on this or kind of have like a final look before I kind of make and post the video on this, then don't hesitate to head over to the Discord, where I will be doing that soon. So yeah, watch the space. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Fantasy Forge. If you guys haven't subscribed to Fantasy Forge, then the Fantasy Forge, then what are you doing? Go do that real quick. Just giving everyone a minute to say goodbye because it always feels rude to cut everyone off, and I know there's always a delay on here. Brilliant. Thank you guys all for coming by. Stop, says Fantasy. No, never. I'm gonna end the stream right now and then continue to pester you on Discord instead. Right.